Okay, hey, I wanted to talk about the new not rework, sorry, the changes for Azir. Wanted to make this as soon as possible, but I had a meeting to go to, so couldn't get out like right when the patch was out. Hopefully this isn't too late. Basically, I want to talk about what changed and how this impacts Azir. Basically, Azir has like two main builds. The competitive one, which they go for like I like to call it an all-in style with the WQE ult combo. That's why I call it the all-in style, since you use all of his ability to perform the combo and push the enemy team into your team. It's really good if you have like a follow-up from your team, which often you don't. Which is why I like the AP carry build a little more when I'm playing solo queue. You don't really have to rely on anyone, then you can use your E as a dash and a shield, and your ultimate just to pull off assassins from you, or if someone tries to engage on you. Basically, the new patch kind of changed which build is better, as well as made some good quality of life changes in general. I wouldn't know. I know I wouldn't really call it quality of life changes, but like some changes that are meant to make like neutral changes. That's what I'll call it. Sorry. Basically, he has his like not on hit build, but yeah. So the first change is for the stats. They moved a lot of stats around, but the main big ones you want to look at is the attack damage, the mana, and attack speed. All the others are impactful, but not really to this discussion. Yeah, the attack speed is mostly important because obviously he scales really well with attack speed, especially with some of the later changes that they've made. The mana, this does a couple of things. A, this is supposed to lower his poke early game, which they kind of did okay-ish. I don't think it's enough to make him stop being like a lane bully, since in competitive he's just a massive lane bully, which also scales insanely well. Which, yeah, you can guess is a bit of a problem. And the other changes, the attack damage, is pretty good because you can now auto attack minions without your W to get some last hits. Especially with your W now scaling a little weirder, I'd say it might actually be worth firsting the ability first. You know what I mean. Since Q is good, but might not be the best now. Just depends. Honestly, I'm not so sure how the scaling is now going to affect. So yeah, that's the main change. Now the passive, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of changes for this. The applying on hit, the applying abilities is just going to make it better scaling, and the other stuff is just basically lowering the punishment. In other times when I played Azir, sometimes you get like punished for accidentally clicking the tower or putting it wrong in a wrong situation. This is supposed to lower the skill curve of Azir, since his skill curve is just a little too high. Yeah, so this is just supposed to make it easier to use it and less punishing if you accidentally use it or use it in the wrong spot. Overall, a really good change. I like it. Now for the Q and W. The Q got some very minor adjustments. W got a bit of an adjustment, especially with the attack speed. Yeah, as you can see, no longer gives attack speed for leveling it up, which is why I'm saying that it's like weird, as normally you want to level up Q, but after these changes, normally I'd say you want to level up W if they nerf Q or do something like that, or change the way that you kill minions, right? But because of the mana changes, and the on hit, you see now W just gives a flat on hit when you level it up, which is actually really fucking good. Before, the problem was that it scales really, really well, but doesn't deal a lot of damage early. And yeah, but now it's does good early game damage, which might help you get like CS early with it, or you could just auto attack it, since your auto attacks now just do a little more damage. So yeah, overall, some nice changes, and the E just reverted the change from last patch, which was horrible. I really wanted to talk about it, but I've been seeing like a lot of videos about what azir is going to do. The changes are going to be. It's been like on and off in the preseason. Not season. Fuck, what am I talking about? PBE, sorry. So yeah, it's been like a lot of different changes, and I liked some of them, didn't like others. At the end, I think they made the right choice. The W not giving attack speed and the passive on hit damage and stuff like that is just supposed to enforce you to buy attack speed. They really want you to buy Nash's Tooth. But the big problem, and this is why I don't think anyone will ever buy Nash's Tooth, and I don't recommend it, is it doesn't apply on hit. Your W doesn't apply on hit, which means Nash's Tooth is going to be completely wasted. At least in the late game. In the early game, you can use it to CS, which is nice, especially with the attack damage changes. But you're never going to get it early enough for it to matter. At that point, you already have enough mana to just CS normally. Don't buy Nash's Tooth. Instead, do what I did. I went for Berserker's Greaves with going Shadow Flame. You can fully proc Shadow Flame, so none of it gets wasted, and it's the same amount of money, gold cost, and then you just go for something like, what's it called? Sorry? Liandry's. I think Liandry's is a little better than Luden's. Luden's is good for the all-in build, but if you're going for the like AP carry build, then I think Liandry's is just better. It does more damage in like straight up fights and like long sustainable damage, right? So yeah, overall some nice changes to lower his just lane bulliness. Overall I just don't like these as much. I think the main big problem, and they sort of addressed it with the attack damage buff, is CS. I've struggled with it so badly this game, since his CS is just bad. Yeah, he just doesn't CS well. And see, especially with the mana changes, right? So it's hard to say, right? And I'm still not sure what's better to max or how this will impact competitive. I think this will sort of nerf azir in competitive play, especially with the all-in changes, but his ult still deals a lot of damage. They didn't revert that change. And there's still a lot of incentivizing to go for this type of build, which is okay. I like that there's two builds. The problem is just one of them is so broken in competitive play, right? Yeah, basically, azir being a lane bully was just not addressed well enough. His early game damage is now just going to be better, I think, with the changes to his W, which is just, it's questionable. Okay, mana and health changes are going to be impactful, really impactful. The passive, going to be slightly impactful. The W, though, is where I'm starting to wonder how this will impact competitive. This just means that he has better scaling, and his on-hit is going to be better. Sorry, not on-hit, like the AP carry is going to be better. And yeah, I think when it comes to bullying, he will still be able to bully you pretty well. Not amazing, right? They definitely have done a lot to minimize the bullying effect. So yeah, overall, a good change. I just wish it was better. So yeah, how would I change it? What I would do is give the W maybe some actual on-hit scaling, pretty much just for Nash's Tooth. And what I'd also do is make the W deal more damage to minions while removing the or lowering a lot of the on-hit from his W. So make it scale better with items and AP, but the passive damage is just going to be a little lowered, especially against enemies, but increased against minions. Also, I'd like to give him like And some other way to like CS, the AD increase is nice, but it's so hard to CS with it, right? Maybe either W has longer range against minions or something. That could be a nice change. But yeah, making his mana cost like so high is just, it makes it really, really hard to CS, which massively makes him hard. It makes him really, really hard. He's already a hard champion. But overall, I like it. I actually really like these changes. I've enjoyed this game as Azir. Yeah, I was saying that I didn't choose the game. Like, this is literally the first game I played after they buffed Azir. And yeah, I'm doing pretty good, right? Yeah, this is just... It feels really nice. Like, he feels really good in, like, the late game, but I'm still concerned that in the early game, he might be a bit of a bully. His damage seems like too good, especially because they just gave him so much flat damage. They could basically buy like Berserker's Greaves and just like one-shot everything. So yeah, I do think they need a bit more changes. What I would do is, as I said, make it a little easier to see us without needing W, and then make it have a higher mana cost and a longer recharge. So you can't just like pull out as much like soldiers. So then make it increased with levels or something, just like a Gangplank, which you can get up to 5 barrels at the end, but I think he just gets like 5 barrels now. I'm not actually sure how that works. I haven't played like Gangplank in a long time. Before I played the gameplay before the changes to the barrel. Anyway, so I think something similar where you can have like multiple charges late game, especially now that they don't like benefit, but make it like capped as like 3 minions can attack 1 guy. So basically the idea is that you have like extra for either escape, or if the guy moves and you can just W in his new position. This will make it easier to play Azir, but without like increasing his damage output, which I think is a nice idea. Also, I think his ult should deal way less damage. It is really one of the reasons he's so good in competitive. That's it. Overall, happy with the changes. Hope there'll be more changes, and I'm still not sure how that's going to impact competitive, but I assume it's going to be a mostly positive change for competitive, but might lower his pick rate, since he might be a little harder into some matchups. That's my prediction. Anyway,